Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Live Econ Guy. In today's video, I want to discuss once again savings and debt. So, came across this article. It looks like the mainstream media is finally catching on to what's happening. So, they're saying shrinking savings and rising debt leave consumers on shaky financial footing. And they kind of relate this to something that happened in 2008. So, I'm going to really quickly scan through this article. So, U.S. households have been whittling down their savings and taking on increased amounts of debt, something we've seen kind of last year if you've watched my videos. And by the way, I'll link the previous videos I made on this topic down below. So continuing on, putting many in a weaker position to weather an economic downturn, exactly kind of what I was saying, taking on lots of debt, not really having the savings to potentially cover that debt if necessary. All the more likely following recent turmoil in the banking industry, which I don't know. I kind of showed that was already happening before even the Silicon Valley Bank crisis and now the First Republic Bank. So this article is once again saying that they're drawing parallels to the 2008 financial crisis. And they're saying that essentially the stress put on all of these banks, it's going to make it even more difficult for consumers to get credit. So maybe some credit limits are going to get slashed. And if credit limits are getting slashed and household saving is at all-time lows, then that's kind of a bad sign. You might not be able to pay your bills and whatnot. So they bring up inflation. They're showing some numbers that, Bank of America credit and debit card data from February shows spending per household up 2.7% year over year, which suggests that U.S. consumer spending remains resilient, even at the rate of spending growth, as the rate of spending growth moderates. So, but data indicates that wages haven't kept up with inflation over that period. As a result, Americans have increasingly turned to their credit cards and saving accounts to keep up their spending habits, which I'll show once again in the updated data set that I recently created. Once again, Americans have spent down about half of their savings they accumulated during the pandemic. I'd say way more than half, but then again, I'm looking at just averages. I'm looking at average household spending and savings. So without further ado, let's jump into our data that I have prepared for you. Let's see here. Okay, so everyone should be able to see this. So this really hit me by surprise. Last time we looked at this, average household savings was at just over 3,000, with household debt being just below 9,000. So what happened recently is a really big surprise for me. It looks like if you look at the very right side of this chart, this graph, people suddenly increased their savings amounts and savings spiked. Household savings on average are still below their household revolving debt, but they're much closer than they used to be. So I wonder what happened. I mean, it's too early for people to be getting tax refunds, that's for sure. I know some places, some states, taxes got delayed because of storms and whatnot, so maybe people are not paying taxes quite yet. It's being deferred to the end of the year. There could be many reasons for this, but I was personally shocked. One thing to say is that household revolving debt is still growing. So last time we spoke, it was just below 9,000, and as of the March data update from the Federal Reserve, the average household has roughly $9,500 in revolving debt and roughly $7,600 in their savings. So I think people are catching on to what's going on, and they're starting to either liquidate assets or they're starting to spend less. It could be a number of things. I'm interested to know what everyone else thinks, like what is going on with savings and household debt. So do let me know. I'm interested to know what you all think. How is your situation? Are you staying afloat? Are you deep in debt? I'll leave some links down below. Thanks for tuning in.